Warning, the following review contains flashing lights and strong language not suitable for minors under the age of 7, but it is very patriotic, so you should probably just watch it anyway. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But what if the pursuit of happiness were to contradict liberty?
America, 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 fuck yeah, coming again to save the motherfucking day, yeah, America, fuck yeah, freedom is the only way, yeah, terrorists, your game is through, 'cause now you have to answer to America, fuck yeah, so lick my blood and suck on my balls, fuck yeah! What you gonna do when we come for you now?
Do the people have to be freedom beef for safety on the streets?
Before we begin this review, let's talk about the production history of this episode. To be precise, what it supposedly got, how it got banned. Now, from what I can tell, this episode was so bad that Mr. and Mrs. Practice came up with a BS reason to make sure it never airs in America. There's a character in this episode who promotes communism or something similar to it, which, as you may or may not know, America is run by capitalists who legally bribe the government, a process known as lobbying. America is a mixed market, but in reality, capitalism is the dominant type of economy on a national level. This episode had already aired everywhere else that the episode was broadcasted. I just want to make this perfectly clear. I do not support communism, as history has shown that due to human nature it works about as well as anarchy, which is to say it doesn't really work. Like anarchy, it usually gets wind up perverted into a command structure where one person or a small group of people have ultimate power in terms of government and wealth. Soviet Russia, while getting that level of bad with Stalin, still proved that communism doesn't work so many times that in first thinking became mimetically associated with Soviet Russia due to a comedian jokingly referring to his time there. And nowadays, Russia uses a capitalist mixed economy. Not a big surprise. Plus, Cuba's being ruled by that nasty dictator, and don't even get me started on North Korea. Anyway, the reason for banning this episode is entirely invalidated to the fact that the character who is promoting those communist values is in fact the villain of the week. Also, this episode apparently deals with collectivism mixed with the perverted of communism, while they freely subjected themselves to it. There's still a central power and authority figure. Then again, I'm not probably sure I fully understand these concepts or what's actually different between them. This episode's going to be a doozy, isn't it? Before the episode even begins, the opening credits seem to do the THX sound effect for no logical reason.
The audience is now deaf.
The episode begins with several reoccurring villains such as Mojo Jojo, Redneck Pumpery Bumpkin of unknown species Fuzzy Lumpkins, and him, who is the devil, but Mr. and Mrs. Practice don't seem to allow Cartoon Network to say his name or any variant thereof. Though him is technically modernized Satan, and all the names are actually applied to other demons, but that's kind of a tangent. I assume it's censorship reasons, because Satan also appears in I Am Weasel as the red guy. And if you can't tell by this version's attire, he's kind of
Hands off little babies.
Whoa, that is not what I meant. What the actual, for kids?
Are going to cry.
Oh, okay, nice save there.
I will take control and I will plow
Damn it, man.
down your city.
You know, it's not a save if you're just gonna keep doing it. So anyway, apparently the villains were just wreaking havoc because apparently the Powerpuffs were nowhere to be found, only for them to arrive at the last possible moment, just as the villains finish singing, and wow, I'm getting dizzy here.
Wanna get some? Wanna get some? Wanna get some? Wanna get some?
Wow, those sound some really lazy lyrics. They're the only lyrics, and are only said a couple times. That was apparently the name of the song, thus ruining what was otherwise a decent song. Like when Meet the Beatles, the villains team up and the girls are no match for their combined might. They then sing a song that's just literally them brooding and beating the fetuses. These are the same girls when their first act of true superheroism saved Townsville from an army of super intelligent monkeys Mojo had enhanced with Chemical X, and beat up Mojo, who was jacked up on the stuff. Sometimes the show does abandon logic for the sake of the plot, but I think I'm less okay with it here than in some other places. And trust me, this show does have a slight sense of continuity. Oh, and by the way, Buttercup's greatest dislike is apparently admitting defeat. So, yeah. Also, brooding is only really allowed for more serious superheroes like Batman and Daredevil, and mixed bags like the Doctor. The Powerpuff Girls are not serious superheroes, and Craig McCracken usually embraces the insanity of the genre. I mean, if they were parodying superheroes that were getting serious, then that would be... Oh, God, no, not like that. Definitely not like that. Anyway, a raindrop hits the ground and the flower blooms, but this is no ordinary flower. No, it's a communist flower. Look at how red it is. Real classy, Craig. If that wasn't bad enough, a vibrant red-clad lawn gnome emerges from the flower. The gnome offers some magical solution to their problems. With that red outfit, pointy hat, pointy goatee, creepy face, and evil-looking eyeballs, this guy just screams of Satanism. And again, this was an episode supposedly banned in America because this guy promoted communism. If that wasn't bad enough, he asked for something in return, basically likening this to a deal with the devil. What does he ask for? Their individuality and superpowers, or in other words,
Trading their souls to the devil.
On a side note, aside from being vaguely implied, the individuality part here is entirely glossed over by the production staff. If you don't believe the satanic symbolism is there, I probably can't convince you otherwise, but just wait until I show you his next song. The girls hash it out
I'm not giving up.
and finally agree to the deal. Gnomey then uses a satanic ritual, and I'm just gonna show you the whole thing, but a quick seizure warning, there are a bit of flashing lights. How did that meet network standards, apparently? It's that censors were still paranoid after the Porygon incident, but this wasn't banned anywhere else in the world.
Hear me, elders from the earth. Hear me, elders from the sea. Help me rid this city of its villainous treachery. Reunite above me. Reunite above me, fathers. Reunite above and send to me a chant to set them free.
The citizens then start to sing about how they enjoy the newfound peace, including the dim-witted and immature but kind-hearted mayor of Townsville. Gnomey descends from the heavens, and the citizens start singing a new song of praise, but then things start taking a turn for the worse when Gnomey joins the singing, tells them to devote themselves to him, and Gnomey's flower grows gigantic from the sound of praise, but also grows twisted and thorny until it looks like a weed infesting the skyline of Townsville. The girls also get their own verse in this considerably dragged out song, singing about how they're enjoying being normal little girls, while the citizens also give up their freedom and individuality willingly. And then, what appears to be the most infamous musical number of the episode happens. Freedom Beef, which as far as I can tell is just a strawman argument against collectivism. Also, the girls somehow get their powers back even though Gnomey didn't actually break his end of the deal.
Can't you see the people in the streets, lined like cattle, waiting for the butcher of freedom? Sacrificing their hopes and their dreams, all their individuality for freedom. Don't you think that it's time that you fought for freedom?
But we don't have our powers.
Can't you see there's evil in the world? Don't you know you're the Powerpuff Girls for freedom?
So we still must have our powers.
That's some bullshit.
And speaking of strawman arguments, that's exactly what the next song is. It's the girls outright harass Gnomey with it.
You wanna say your words. You wanna make a deal. You wanna change the world. You wanna make us feel real good. Real good.
I'm confused now who's supposed to be the villain here. Gnomey even falls into an open grave, because apparently saying die is not allowed, but falling into an open grave is? What? Also, talk about your unfortunate implications with wanna make us feel really good. Gnomey retaliates with an energy blast while singing the ritual chant from earlier. It doesn't work this time. And Gnomey has an epiphany, which is basically what the girls were telling him. Seizure warning.
As I descend to the earth, and I view the universe above me, I realize that life evolves, revolves, and dissolves completely around the opposites. Therefore, I conclude that I cannot exist in my utopian mind.
Well, it's still a generally valid moral. Way it was portrayed could have had better execution, which I'll get into a bit later, and it's even more completely ruined by the girl citizens and villains singing the final song, Why Can't We Get Along, afterwards.
So once again, the day is saved thanks to the Powerpuff Girls!
So yeah, that's the end of the episode. This episode is weird. I want to like it, I really do. There was some good singing and all of the instrumental parts of the music rocked, but the lyrics were lacking. It's the only other episode I can think to compare this one to is Mayhem of the Music Meister, and the music to that one was generally the same quality, good singers, good instrumentals, generally lackluster repetitive lyrics. I know it might be hard to write decent and non-repetitive lyrics for a 22-minute episode, but there was a song that barely even had any lyrics to begin with that I mentioned earlier, so I honestly have to call foul here. The producers were clearly capable of working around the limitations involved, but did it for sort of a reason. Considering this was supposed to be a rock opera, I suppose it kind of makes sense that satanic imagery wouldn't be involved and villainized, especially when you consider that Gnomey was originally meant to be voiced by Jack Black, who together with Tyle Goss, I don't know how to pronounce that one, as Tenacious D, is known for the song Tribute, which featured a shiny red demon who looked like a cross between modern Satan and Beelzebub that threatened to eat their souls if they didn't play him the greatest song in the world.
We are but men, rock.
And Gnomey was instead voiced by Jess Harnell. Yes, that's right, he was voiced by Wacko Warner, Secret Swirl, and Crash Bandicoot, as well as the current voice of Ned Flanders, Bayformers Ironhide, and a bunch of other roles. So who wrote this episode anyway?
Dun dun dun!
That explains a lot, actually. There were 2 writing credits, weren't there? Who was the other one?
Dun dun dun!
You know, it says that he only wrote additional dialogue and did storyboarding and a small bit of voice acting. Talk about your animation triple threats. But the top of his IMDb page shows Shrek 2, Shark Tale, and Madagascar. I'm sure he's getting a lot of work right now. Oh, god damn it. Anyway, part of the problem with the moral is that even if it was a Batman game, but Gnomey didn't actually do anything that could be considered evil. The citizens willingly gave up their individuality, so the message becomes one that goes against the concept of free will. As an American citizen, I cannot abide by this. Perhaps in the end, this was the real reason the episode was banned. Who knows? 2 out of 5 just had to ruin the moral on such a level. Until next time, stay Neptuned.
Can't you see the people in the streets? Lined like cattle waiting for the butcher of freedom. Sacrificing their hopes and their dreams, all their individuality for freedom. Do the people have to be freedom beef? Do the people have to be freedom beef? Do the people have to be freedom beef for safety on the streets? They're blinded by the light. Don't you think that it's time that you fought for freedom?
But we don't have our powers.
Can't you see there's evil in the world? Don't you know you're the Powerpuff Girls for freedom?
So we still must have our powers. We made a deal, did our part, and it was for peace. He broke the deal, failed his part, now we'll fight for peace. If there is bad, there'll be good, and it has to be
for safety on the streets.
Powerpuff Girls!
Bullshit.